Dijeron igualdad, pero esta vez me separaron. Dijeron mucho, pero no se olvidaron de callarse. Cuánto odio por mi piel sembraron. Dijeron historia y la tergiversaron. Dijeron guerra, muerte, odio y nos culparon. Siempre. Enfermedades, epidemias nos contagiaron. Exterminación de mi fauna complace a tus mercados. Dijeron riqueza y todo se lo robaron. Oro, platino, diamante, a la fuerza se lo llevaron. Y la actualidad es tan triste que todo aquello que dijeron es lo mismo que hoy se dice más. ¿Quién dice, quién explota, quién se beneficia? El asesino, el mismo que da las noticias. Hay una cuenta fácil que siempre me da las grandes riquezas, de dónde vienen y hacia dónde van.
Independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao, independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao. Nati Dre es afroresistencia, cultura ancestral, afrodescendencia, solidaridad. Esa es la esencia, la diáspora africana eleva la conciencia, conciencia negra, universal, progresista y transcultural. Negros y mestizos revolucionando, pueblos caribeños y africanos en un solo bando. No más explotación, colonialismo interno, no más confusión, supremacía blanca en el Babilón. Soy rojo, negro y verde, afroliberación. Mientras más negro, más represión. Somos creadores, recupera tu visión. Mi visión es educar con amor, contra el silencio, vivo sin temor. Independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao, independiente como los Mao Mao, concluyente como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao,
como los Mao Mao. Somos resistentes como los Mao Mao.
Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to Black Power Media. I'm your host, Kalanji Changa. Today, you are here on the Rise Up International Morning Show. We got a packed show today. We're coming to you live with a critical broadcast today. Our focus for this episode is the state-sponsored abduction and detention of Rodney Taylor. This is a conversation that strikes at the heart of our community's struggle for liberation and self-determination against a system that views our brothers and sisters as disposable. Imagine living 40 years of your life in one country. You build a career as a respected local barber, you raise 7 children, and you become a pillar of your community. Then in a matter of seconds, your world is upended. In January 2024, Rodney Taylor, a double amputee who came into the U.S. from Liberia at just 2 years old, was surrounded by ICE agents and taken into custody. Despite a decades-old conviction for which he was fully pardoned by the state of Georgia in 2010, Rodney now faces deportation to a country he hasn't seen since he was a toddler. His year-long detention at the Stewart Detention Center has raised harrowing questions about the treatment of disabled detainees, including reports of him being placed in solitary confinement for refusing to enter a flooded cell that would ruin his electronic prosthetics. To help us unpack the layers of this issue, we are honored to be joined by Rodney's fiancée and fiercest advocate, Mildred Pierre. Now, before we dive into this analysis, a quick reminder to everyone tuned in, Black Power Media is a viewer-funded platform. We don't answer the corporate advertisers, we answer to you. If you value this content and stories like Rodney's that the mainstream media ignores, please show your support by heading over to blackpowermedia.org/donate or join our community builders at patreon.com/blackpowermedia reloaded. Your contributions keep this independent Black media engine running. Before we bring on our good sister Mildred, who is a proud revolutionary Haitian, you know what I mean? We're going to play a little bit of sounds, some tunes from a man, Ness, from the group, the Airlikes, from the RBG culture. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right at you.
I used to get the money. I had to go to the store, rob, steal.
Yeah, don't work. Things a nigga had to do to make a living. Stealing, robbing, copping, flipping, bagging, slinging. Grinning, buried in the mirror, stop your bitching. Get up and get it and go home. Yeah, things a nigga had to do to make a living. Stealing, robbing, copping, flipping, bagging, slinging. Grinning, buried in the mirror. mirror, stop your bitch. Let's take it back. Get up and get it and go home. I wanted to draw comic books, play ball, shit like that. Big house, by my mama house, shit like that. Then the realities are like, give you a smack. Thinking back, forks in the road, this where we at. After high school, went to school down south, FAMU, graphic design, J school, financial aid to pay for school, but shit ain't paid for everything. Part-time job pay was cool, but not enough when rent was due. Things I had to do, I did the math. What you know about trade bags and marijuana? Far from home, you could tell that we out of town. There's no need for drama, we just trying to make a couple dollars. Mommy back home, waking up a la madrugada. Costco, 20 years hard working, Dominicana. Many jobs throughout the years, 9 to 5s and 5 to 9ers. Worked in hospitals, kitchen, chicken spots, and like diners. Worked at Hard Rock Stadium when it was Joe Robbie. 3 kids did what she had to do, salute the mommy. Talking about hard work, who work harder than mommy? Doing you always on time, worked overtime, mommy. Rich and spared, but we lived in poverty. We lived in, things that mommy had to do to make a living. Leave the kids at the crib while she gigging. Rob Porter paid Peter shit plus penny pension. Fuck them holidays, she even worked Christmas and Thanksgiving, nigga. Things a nigga had to do to make a living. Stealing, robbing, copper, flipping, bag and slinging. Grinning, buried in the mirror, stop your bitching. Get up and get it or go hungry. Capitalist. Things a nigga had to do to make a living. Stealing, robbing, copper, flipping, bag and slinging. Grinning, buried in the mirror, stop your bitching. Get up and get it or go hungry. Capitalism. Get up and get it or go hungry. Capitalism. Get your ass up and get it or be homeless. Capitalism. Word. The system don't work, nigga. Fuck the system. The system don't work, nigga. Fuck the system. Let's tell mommy's story. Fuck the system. Stories of the third world. The system don't work. Origin story. So mommy, how did you meet Pop? Love you, mommy. Oh, word. Check. Mommy married Pop for the money. Dami story, young girl from the country. Campesina, but that term type derogatory. Some nights in El Campo, mommy went to bed hungry. In La Cama, mommy praying, please, Lord have mercy. No rest for the weary, she up bright and early. Still dark out, mommy up before the sun. Working barefoot, carry water, working since a little girl. Since 4 years old, I've been working, let mommy tell it. Reminiscing on the childhood, tears will well up. In her eyes, I can see her life in times. Memory spinning through her mind like a single engine plane propeller. As a teen, she was sent to the city to work for a family. Work for the family, sending money back home. Help out Bella with her younger siblings. If you only knew what she had to do. Capitalist. Things a nigga had to do to make a living. Stealing, robbing, copper, flipping, bag and slinging. Grinning, buried in the mirror, stop your bitching. Get up and get it or go hungry. Capitalist. Things a nigga had to do to make a living. Stealing, robbing, copper, flipping, bag and slinging. Grinning, buried in the mirror, stop your bitching. Get up and get it or go hungry. Capitalist.
What's happening, y'all? It's the Rise Up International Morning Show. We are live and direct. Skalanji Chong in the building. That was my man Ness from the Airlights. We got Mildred Pierre on deck today. Sock Passe. What's up, Mildred?
Sock Passe, Nabule. Thank you for having me.
Yo, honored to have you on. We are definitely grateful to have you on. It's unfortunate the reason that we're having you on. You know what I'm saying? We would love to be talking about, something good, some revolution. We would love to be talking about, African culture. We'd love to be talking about liberation. But today we're talking about a quote unquote victim of ICE. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to bring you on to talk about this good brother who hasn't been getting much media coverage at all. And he's a victim before the two white folks that we see that were gunned down in Minneapolis. You know what I'm saying? A victim from, it's been going on 2 years, I believe. And so I want you to tell the people, that are checking us out here today on the Rise Up International Morning Show. I want to start off by saying, let's paint a human picture, because sometimes, folks come in and we're talking about what happened after. That's like talking about enslavement and chattel slavery, like we didn't have a life prior to that. So for folks who are new to the block, give us an idea of who Rodney Taylor is before we get into the story.
Rodney is a funny guy. He has an infectious Eddie Murphy laugh. Rodney's a giver. He's a master barber. He's been a master barber since he's been a barber since he was 14, and he's now 47. He has mastered the craft of barbering. Rodney is disabled, but even with his disability, he has 6 fingers. He is great as craft. Rodney gives free haircuts at church events, nonprofit events, HIV/AIDS patients. He provides free haircuts. He also he's a giver. He just started a nonprofit to be able to collect coats and shoes to give back. Rodney believes, it's the power of giving back is how, you're blessed. He had started a health fair, and unfortunately he couldn't finish it. So we finished on his behalf, where he provided free haircuts, access to healthcare to over 150 people, families that showed up last year. Rodney was nominated from Synergy's Eddie Award for the work that he's done, providing free haircuts and all the other work that he's done in the community. He was nominated last year. Rodney has worked with amazing organizations such as the Gwinnett County Sheriff Department every year for back to school events. What's interesting is Rodney is, even though he's detained right now, people look to him for encouragement. He cuts hair in there. They essentially, I guess, recruited him to cut hair. And he had a few apprentices. He taught a few men the craft of cutting hair or barbering, so that when they, get deported back to their birthplace, they can have a skill to survive themselves. Another thing he's done is he has saved souls. He saved a few souls to Christ. And so being an inspiration and encouraging people, Rodney is he's a dad, he's a brother, he's an uncle, he's a dad of 7. We are a big family. It's a total of 9 of us. Rodney is a caring, giving guy, funny guy.
No doubt, no doubt. We definitely appreciate you coming on, sharing that portion. We're joined by our co-host, Ikemba Ojore. He's in the building right now. What's happening, Ikemba? Ikemba look like he's ready for war today. What's good? You all right?
Hey, Black Power. Yes.
Okay.
Peace to the family. Peace, Sister Mildred.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
No doubt. So, just getting started, Mildred. Rodney was taken just 10 days after you all's engagement, is what I understand. From a Black liberation perspective, we see this as an abduction by the state. Can you walk us through that morning in Loganville and what the agents told you?
Oh yeah, he was detained 10 days after he proposed. It was a normal sunny day. It was early in the morning. It wasn't quite 8 o'clock yet, so we were getting the younger kids ready to drop them off. 4 years old and 6-year-old at the time, to drop them off to school. And as I'm pulling out the driveway, I see a car in the cul-de-sac, and I'm like, oh, that's odd. It's odd to see a car there because, as traffic is moving, you could get in a car accident. So that's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, there's a car in the cul-de-sac. I'm like, that's odd. Anyway, get in the car, pull off. We don't get no more than 2 houses past our house. There's a car that come in the front, and then there's another car that come next to it, and then there's a third one behind those 2 cars. And then I look in the rearview mirror. There's a car, that same car from the cul-de-sac is now pinned behind me, and there's another car behind it. So there's like 5 cars, 3 in the front. I'm pinned, 3 in the front, and 2 in the back. At that point, I turn off the engine, and I'm like, what is going on? I looked at Rodney. I'm like, did you do something? And he was like, no, Mil. And they come out the car. These cars are unmarked. Let's be clear. They're regular cars. These people are unmarked and so bulletproof vests. And some of them had their guns on their hands, and some of them had their guns drawn. Rodney Taylor, get out. Rodney Taylor, get out. The 2 kids in the back are crying. Mommy, what's going on? What's going on? I think this is their first time they actually see a gun. So they start crying. What's going on? What's going on? Mommy, what's happening? Rodney, what's happening? Daddy, they call him Daddy. Daddy, what's happening? And I'm like, we don't know. At this point, they proceed and open the door, the passenger door, and they basically pull Rodney out and they handcuff him. And I'm like, who are you guys? Where are you taking him? And they were like, ICE Atlanta. I'm like, what is ICE Atlanta? What is that? They was like, I said, where is that? And they was like, Google it. At that time, I was not familiar with acronym ICE. And so I'm like, I don't know what to do. And Rodney was like, call my lawyer. Call his lawyer. But that was the morning. It was horrific. I still had to go to work. I still had to drop off the kids. I didn't know who to call at that time. There weren't a lot of resources. This happened January 15th. So this was before Trump was inaugurated. And so all the resources people have now, like don't open the door, make sure there's a warrant. We had no idea. And there wasn't a warrant. They didn't have any documents saying, hey, we're picking him up for this. And we didn't know to even ask that. We didn't have a clue. That was that morning. It was a very long day.
So man, I'm listening to you, and I've heard these different stories, and we've all seen similar situations, right? Some of us been involved in different situations dealing with, just the state apparatus itself, right? Yeah. This happened in 2024 or 2025. Let me get my clarity right.
2025. This happened last year.
Okay, 2025. So this is a little over a year ago now.
Yeah.
And so they basically abduct them. You don't know what ICE is. And this is important for folks that are watching because, of course, Africans, Black folks are quick to say that this ain't our fight, right? So let's start with that because Rodney looked pretty damn Black to me when I saw his picture. You know what I'm saying? He don't strike you as the picture on your shirt. Yeah. It's to my understanding that Rodney had endured 16 surgeries and relies on electronic prosthetics. We've heard he was sent to solitary for refusing to step into a flooded cell. What is his current physical condition, and how is he surviving the neglect at Stewart? And kind of walk us to that point, because it's not like he just got the Stewart. He was taking the Stewart. What happened like after? And I'll come back to that particular question. But what happened after? They snatch him up. You have to go to work. The children have to go to school. You have to call a lawyer. I mean, what took place after that? Because he didn't just get to the detention center. After
that, he calls me. He managed to call me, and he was like, "I'm in Atlanta still, but they're gonna transport me to another location." I'm like, "What's the location?" He said, "I don't know. I'm gonna see if I could call you again." So it was like a 5-minute call, and I called the lawyer, and the lawyer's like, "Well, there's 2 different places they might take him. Once he's able to call you back, let me know which location." They didn't even have him in the system. They put him in the system. So when the lawyer went to go check, there was nothing there. So the word abduction is real. At that point, when Rodney was sitting down at the table in Atlanta, is when they drafted an administrative order. They didn't have nothing on this man. And so the lawyer himself couldn't pull anything. He couldn't see anything on his end logging into the system because they had to create something. So they did. The school had called me because the kids were crying inconsolably. And at the time, the kids went to 2 different schools. One was in daycare and the other one was in 1st grade. And the teachers were like, "What's going on? Why are they crying? What's going on?" And I'm like, "It's been a day." And I remember going to work numb. I was like blinders. I was hyper focused on trying to figure out how to get this man out and why they took him. Rodney was born with disabilities. From the age of 2, he came from Shriner Children's Hospital to Liberia for extensive surgeries. When they assessed him in Liberia, the little that they could do, because Liberia didn't have like equipment, so MRIs, different type of X-rays, CT scans. So they thought the best way to figure out how they could help him was bring him to the U.S. Brought him to the U.S. He came here in 1981 at the age of 2, and he had a whole bunch of surgeries. So he was born with a club foot on his left foot, and on his right foot, he didn't have a foot at all. On his right leg, there was no foot. It was missing foot. And he was born with 3 of these fingers missing. So he had a full thumb. One of the surgeries they did was create a partial pinky. So he's able to, if you see his Instagram, if you see me do this, when you see him, that's literally what it looks like. And he has a sense of humor, so he'll laugh about it. And so by the time he's 10 years old, they did so many surgeries, but it was like by the time he was 10, he becomes a full-blown double amputee. So they cut the left leg, they cut the right. And so he's below the knee and above the knee. And so he's fitted with prosthetics. Rodney walked for the first time at the age of 3 with the use of prosthetics and devices. So you can imagine this man has been through different medical situations. Rodney, when he was in solitary confinement, the prosthetics he have now are like, I don't know if you guys remember the show RoboCop. Okay, so Rodney prosthetics are similar to that. It's like that, but the prosthetics he have are so high tech you can't hear the, but it's a microchip computer that does all the walking for him. What we don't realize that we're so blessed that our brain picks up when we land on the ground, adjusts to the height and the height and the different ground levels, whether we're on pebbles or concrete or on sand.
Terrain, yeah.
Our brain does it automatically. Well, these prosthetics does it for him. So it adjusts so that it depending on what ground his foot land on and how fast. So the microchips helps to understand when that landing impact on his foot, so he doesn't trip, fall, and it creates balance for him. These prosthetics are about 25 pounds each leg. So think about that. And so the prosthetics are high tech because it helps him not to feel the weight of the prosthetics, and it does all that rhythm stuff for him that he doesn't have for himself. So they're high tech. They require at least 8 hours of charging. This particular day, the AC wasn't working for 2 months at Stewart Detention Center. The water from the ceiling, there was water from the ceiling leaking through the ground. So it was about a few centimeters of water on the ground. And this particular day, the officer was like, you need to get up for count. You need to go back to your room so we could count you. And he was not too far from his room. So he was like, just count me here because I can't walk. That morning, they didn't bring him to charge his prosthetics. Someone has to bring him to get his prosthetics charged. Nobody came to bring him. So his legs were not charged. What does that mean, Mil? That means he's not able to walk. So his knees doesn't bend. The bending mechanism doesn't happen. The rhythm stuff, all that stuff I just told you doesn't happen. And then he feels the weight of the prosthetic. So it's like 25 pounds each leg and the knee's not bending. So it's a tripping hazard. Then on top of that, the ground is wet. He told him, nah, just count me here. I can't walk. So the officer gets mad. He was like, you need to get up. You need to get up. He was like, look, I can't get up. And they was like, he was aggressive. He was like, I cannot get up. You have it documented that you did not take me to charge my legs. And you see the water on the ground. And it's hot inside that room. I don't want the heat from the room to mess up my prosthetics. And he was like, well, at least, count me and leave the door open so we get some air. And they told him no. They said, no, we're going to put this as you being defiant, you being aggressive. And he's like, I'm not being aggressive. We having a regular conversation. He calls me like 20 minutes later. He said, Mil, if you don't find me, if I don't call you the next day, they either put me in a hole or they ship me to another facility. Sure enough, the next day he didn't call. So I knew something was wrong. Finally, like later that day or the next day after that, this is now day 2, he calls me. I'm like, why I haven't heard from you? He said, I'm in the hole. I said, how are you able to talk to me? He said, man, one of the assistant wardens saw me in here. Didn't have no documentation of me being in here. It was trying to figure out why am I in here. He was doing count in solitary confinement, but Rodney's name was not on the list. So he was like, how are you here? Like, it don't make no sense. And the assistant warden was there the day that this incident happened, actually allowed Rodney to sit this one out. Like, okay, we'll just count you from where you are. And didn't understand like why they sitting there. Retaliation, discrimination, lack of accommodation, you name it. It is what it is. And the assistant warden felt bad. He gave Rodney the phone. He said, we know your fiancée is always advocating for you. You need to have her make some phone calls. I did. So I made a few phone calls, reached out to a few organizations. They was able to call we was able to get a newspaper the same day out that called the detention center on their stuff, and they allowed Rodney to get out. There's no documentation that Rodney was in solitary confinement because they would have had to admit that their AC wasn't working, there was water on the ground, and it was indeed a hazard, and that they didn't allow him to charge his leg. So that's how he got into solitary confinement.
That is insane. Ikemba, you have any questions, brother?
Man, I'm kind of just soaking it all in, and I don't really have a question. I just sorry to hear about everything that you're going through. Know that there's so many of our people out there that's going through similar situations, and I think what you're raising, there has to be a moment, and hopefully in our lifetime, that all of these people are brought to justice. There's this image that America likes to project of itself and put themselves on a high ground as far as this moral high ground. But us, that's living in the belly of the beast, we know better. And historically, America had shifted its I'm not going to say position. I'm going to say their behavior just a bit. Once these things are exposed to the international community, because it exposes the hypocrisy of the United States of America. And so that's why this conversation is so important. So I just appreciate you coming up here and telling your story.
No problem. I thank you for having me. I like to take it a little further. I'm not shy to say Rodney has a criminal background, not because he did a crime. When he was in his teens, 16, 17 years old, he was railroaded. He had just came from a Shriner's a doctor's appointment the day before. And so he was home sitting on the porch, just chilling. The neighbor house got broken into. There was a burglary at the neighbor's house. And the police came. They saw Rodney there. They accused him of burglary. Back then in 97, 96, the prosthetics he have now are not. That's like having the prosthetics he have now is like an iPhone 20 compared to having a phone with the cord, a mainline. The prosthetics in 96, 97 were made out of wood, and they were a lot more heavy than they are now. They were like 35 pounds each, and they were made out of wood. They didn't have that mechanism, chip, computer stuff at all. They accused him of breaking through a window, climbing out a window rather, with heavy stereo equipment, which is not physically possible. He was afraid. They told him if you don't plead guilty, you're gonna serve 5 years. He got scared. His parents are not around, so he pleaded guilty, and he served 2 years on probation. However, Rodney violated probation. He couldn't pay these probational fees. He couldn't hang on the dump trucks and pick up the trash and throw it. He physically cannot do that. And instead of finding a different way for him to serve that, they railroaded him. They said, it is what it is. You have to serve 9 months in jail, which is what he ended up doing. He told me the day when he was in court, he actually showed the judge his prosthetics. He pulled his pants sleeve up and said, "Look, I cannot physically do this. These are what my prosthetics look like." Judge, a white man, turned his head and was like, "Guilty." At that time, Rodney didn't know his immigration status. It was a first offense. He has nothing else after that. And they never told him this might affect your immigration status. So he didn't know all of this. Mm-hmm. So that was in 96, 97. Fast forward to 2010, Rodney receives a full pardon by Georgia Pardon of Paroles, which is extremely hard. Georgia don't give pardons, right? But not only does Rodney get a pardon, he gets a pardon as an undocumented person. We believe, and they know they railroaded him, so they gave him that pardon to kind of like smooth whatever over. But ICE is using that to deport him, even though he has a full pardon here in Georgia. They're using that to deport him. And not only that, we know that he couldn't have done that. That's not something that happened. He got pulled in by the system, and unfortunately, that's what ICE is trying to say, that he has an aggravated burglary, when in fact it's not considered aggravated burglary. We actually had a DeKalb superior judge rewrite the order. And she mentioned, like, this is not an aggravated burglary and he shouldn't be in detainment for this yet.
Yeah, you to your point, when you were talking about Brother Rodney being railroaded, it made me even think about my own experience. I feel like I got railroaded. I have a record as well, and what we have to, the way that we talk about how the injustice system treats us and these laws that they have on the books, you know what they are? They're the same as the black codes of the Reconstruction period, you know, the Jim Crow laws. It's the same thing. When you think about it, one of the black codes, they had the vagrancy law. If you didn't have a job, you would be fined. And if you couldn't pay the fine, you would be incarcerated. Right. That was a black to commit the mass incarceration of black people during the Reconstruction period. And so when you think about it today, I'm always doing my research. I like looking at these corporate criminals, and I see how these pharmaceutical companies, for instance, will commit corruption, and they will pay a fine of like $202 million. Nobody's going to jail. They'll pay this fine of $202 million. Seems like, it seems like a lot, but it's nothing really to a multi-billion-dollar company. You look and see how much they're worth. You're like, and they don't have to pay it all at one time. Right. So that's the different worlds that we're dealing with. I might commit, or someone from our community commit petty theft and have to do some time or given a felony. These are black codes of today.
Word up. I want to, and I appreciate you making that correlation, Ikemba. Ikemba is a professor at Medgar Evers College, so he's a little smarter than I am. So he
I cut it out.
He makes it simple for us. You know what I'm saying? Me, I go all the way around the block. You know what I'm saying? Ikemba's like, look, man, we got time for all that. Black code
wisdom this brother got.
He like, Willie got like 60 minutes on this show, man. We got time for all that. I wanna how old did you say that Rodney was when he was railroaded with this charge?
He was 16 when he was charged.
Okay,
he was 16. He was picked up by the cops. They waited till he turned 18 to go to court and charge guilt. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's 16 with 30-pound wooden legs. You're saying about 30 pounds of people.
35? No, it wasn't 30. It was like 35 pounds each leg. They're heavy. So 35 each leg. So this is 70 extra pounds. Yeah.
So basically, no legs. You pulling 70 pounds. You breaking into a house to take a stereo.
Yeah.
Through a window. Through a window. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's a bad dude. And by the time they come back, he's sitting on the porch chilling, drinking a Coca-Cola. This is that don't even happen in Hollywood. That's some real gangster shit. So I'm looking, and I want to know, like, right now, because of the fact that you mentioned in 2010 he was pardoned, and this is the very crime that they're using to quote unquote deport him now. I want to know, how's the legal team fighting the fact that the federal government is effectively overstepping a state pardon to tear a black man away from his family? What is the legal team doing right now?
The legal team is saying, y'all tripping. Y'all trying to be the judge, the executioner, and the jury in this. It's clear. The pardon is clear. Stop making all this extra stuff up. It's clear. Just read it verbatim. It'll tell you that he has a pardon. But even before the pardon, the crime doesn't fit the aggravated felony ICE is trying to say he is. Right. To be honest, Rodney don't even need the pardon. The crime they're trying to say he did or he's accused of or is trying to deport him, it doesn't equal what they're trying to say it is. And so his legal team is like, hey, let's read through this. And ICE is like, whatever, we'll do whatever we want. And that's where we are right now. We have filed a habeas in September. So we through a federal judge. And the habeas is, I know if you guys seen, across the nation in the news, federal judges, override or federal judges, rule over it. So we had to do it that way, where we had to apply for habeas. And we're still waiting for the result on that. And so his legal team has been working hard, and they're advocates too. They out here protesting with us. So they know it's an injustice. They reckon, that's what's happening, and they're trying their best. Right now, we're just waiting for the judges to rule and make a decision. We are literally in appeal for his immigration, and we are waiting for the federal judge to make a decision. And what I like to say is Rodney was railroaded because he couldn't physically commit the crime. And he said he didn't commit the crime. He's like, Mill, I'm black. I was the only black person there, and they describe a black person. That's it. It was fill in the blank, and they needed to fill in the blank, and they pulled me in. So he had a felony from the age of 18, 19? You know how hard that is? Right. Picking up a felony at a young age. Yeah, that's wild. Your life stops immediately. It's hard to get a job. It's hard to do a lot of stuff. And then to be undocumented on top of that, and disabled.
Yeah, that's the thing right there. Because again, you listen to Black Power Media. This is Rise Up International Morning Show. We're on Black Power Media. Let's start with that. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm always tripping on other folks not doing the station ID. So just letting y'all know this is Black Power Media. And this is where you can learn about Rodney Taylor. We have Mildred Pierre joining my brother Ikemba and I to discuss the case of Rodney Taylor. For folks who are just tuning in, a double amputee who ICE is attempting to deport since January of last year, January 15th, I believe, 2025. And, and they're trying to trying to deport him. And I need people to hear this if you tune in late. They're attempting to deport a man who they accused, a double amputee, who had 70-pound wooden legs. Let's just make it blunt. You know what I'm saying? Accusing him of breaking into a house, climbing through a window, jacking the stereo, and going to sit back down on the porch. They charge him at 18 when he's illegal, when he's an adult. The man is later pardoned about close to 10 years later, not even 8 years or so later.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here. Well, it's a little over eight years. I believe it's like 13 years, if I'm not mistaken. But he's pardoned by the state of Georgia, which I know from working and living in Atlanta, in Georgia, to be pardoned in Georgia is damn near impossible, number one. And for a quote unquote immigrant to be pardoned is even more insane. We are in a very racist state of Georgia, don't get it twisted. Yeah. But they're saying that this is what's going on right now. And they abduct this man and they don't tell anybody shit.
Yeah.
And with this paperwork is what Mildred is telling us. You got the paperwork, it's on the state, it's documented by the state that this man has no criminal record. He's been pardoned, so on and so forth. And ICE is saying, yeah, we see that, but pardon my English, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's essentially what's being said. Is that right, Mildred? I know you wouldn't say it like that.
Verbatim.
Verbatim. Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure that we're hearing you correctly because, sometimes I don't hear too well. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure that I'm hearing and everyone else is hearing because of the fact that I see a bunch of black folks online talking about this ain't our fight. So I'm really tripping right now because of the fact that I'm wondering whose fight is it if it's not our fight. If you can be kidnapped at gunpoint, unmarked cars, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of bulletproof vests, have your children and your lady in the car, get snatched and taken away. Your significant other, your wife, your partner, your fiancée is asking like, who are you? And these motherfuckers say, Google us.
Yeah.
This is what happened, Mildred?
That's exactly what happened.
Not in these good United States. You sure that's what happened, Mildred? I mean,
yeah,
I believe
these
you.
Good United States. It happened.
Yeah, man. But man, Kimber said it's the result. It's in tune with enslavement, You know what I'm saying? And this is what it is.
Continuation.
Yeah.
Continuation, man.
Hey, look here, man.
They never stop. It's changed.
I'm just meeting Mildred. I believe her, but if Kimber said, it's got to be true.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
The evidence is there.
Yeah. Kimber ain't gonna lie on a Monday. I know it ain't Monday, but we're gonna take his word for it. Okay. Mildred, you're raising 7 children?
Yes.
Okay.
We have 7 children together. Yep.
7 children. How has this year of state enforced separation impacted them, and how are you maintaining the strength of the family unit throughout this crisis?
They say Black women are strong. We make a way out of no way. We'll make dinner out of peanut butter and bread and make it a whole Thanksgiving feast and have some left over to feed the neighbor. It's been rough. However, I think trying to keep the kids' mental health intact has been the hardest or the most challenging thing, because I'm in the middle, right? I support him mentally, I support the kids mentally and physically for them, and I try to do the best I can for him physically by going to go see him. It's been a journey. It's took a big hit on all the kids, from the oldest, which is 23, to the youngest, which is 5. It's been a challenge, and trying to keep afloat all the bills, because Rodney was the breadwinner. Rodney has clients, or had clients from 15, 16 years, loyal clients, right? So he brought up, he had a great income. And so taking a hit financially, that was hard. Missing birthdays, anniversaries, graduation, performances, the first time the kids started swimming, all those milestones were hard. And so now it's financially, it's just been hard trying to like maintain the household, cover his legal fees. Immigration is not cheap, y'all. I can't make this. It's not cheap. And still trying to put money on his commissary, money on his phone, and keep the lights on, and pay the rent, and pay the. I hustled a lot last year, and I'm still hustling now. We have a GoFundMe, and I think the hardest part about sharing his story is a lot of people don't know his story. And you know, I look at other people's stories and other people's situations, and I'm like, they're not sharing this because he's Black, or they're not sharing this because they can't relate, or well, I'm not an immigrant, so this doesn't apply to me. So I could share the story all I want, and I'm lucky if I get 2 or 3 people that want to listen. And so this year has been pivotal rather, because people are getting murdered that don't look like me, that are U.S. citizens. So it brought the story a little closer to home. So there's a lot more sympathy there. But there's not a lot of sympathy for a Black man with a family of 9, 7 kids, and how is his wife supporting them? I rarely get that question, so I appreciate you for asking. How do I maintain? A lot of prayers, I'll tell you that much. A lot of prayers, a lot of prayers.
Listen, why don't you put the GoFundMe in the private chat, and our brother Kimber is going to put it up on the screen so folks can get behind it, and we're gonna stay close with you as far as Black Power Media, because it's necessary. Shout out to our sister attorney Nana Giamfi over there on the West Side. You know what I'm saying? She had mentioned your story in an interview I did with her on Hard Knock Radio. I'm in Atlanta. This is how crazy this is. I haven't even heard about it, and I thought I knew everything that was moving out here. You know what I mean? So this slipped through the cracks, but we're not anymore. We're gonna make sure that we stay in tune with you.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate it. She's the executive director at Baji, and her organization's been helping. Let me tell you, they're the reason why Rodney was able to get the habeas.
Word.
She's really like waist deep in this concerning Rodney, and words is not enough. Now I'm just supporting them. Like, what y'all need help with? 'Cause I ain't got money to pay nothing back, but I'll give you my time. And that's exactly how I generally feel about Nana and Baji. Black Alliance Just Immigrant. Yep. No doubt.
We give thanks for her and them. I have a couple more questions before we let you out of let you off the block. Political pressure. Senator Raphael Warnock, who we worked with on the Troy Anthony Davis case before he actually became a senator, when he was the head preacher in charge over Ebenezer Baptist Church. We used to use his church and rally and protest for Troy Anthony Davis, who was a victim and was executed September 21st of 2011 here in Georgia. Yeah. You know, Raphael Warnock has recently, now Senator Raphael Warnock has recently stepped in with a letter to ICE. Do you feel the political tide is turning? And what is the current status of that habeas corpus petition for his release?
The political tide is turning, but let me tell you this about Senator Warnock in his office.
Talk about him.
From the time I emailed his, and I put in an inquiry, because you got to put in something online. Them people been working with me. I could email on a Sunday, and they will reply back on a Sunday. I could email and they'd be on PTO and tell me, I'm on vacation, Mill, but let me connect you with so-and-so. I don't want you to feel like whatever, fill in the blank. They have been super responsive when it comes to Rodney. And I actually went to the church. I went to Ebenezer Baptist Church and I spoke to Raphael Warnock, Senator Warnock, Reverend Warnock in person. I said, I need your help. They're going to kill my husband. They're going to try to kill my husband in there. I need your help. And he remembered that conversation. When I went to DC, I went to his office. We sat down. We had a candid conversation. He said, how can I help you? He wrote this letter to ICE for humanitarian release, explaining like Rodney's a pillar of his community and this, that, and the third. He needs to be released. His medical situation is preventing him from providing, surviving in there. But he doesn't fit the description that you guys said that you were going to do. Pick up all these criminals or illegal folks. Rodney had some type of status when he came to the United States. He didn't come here legally. So Raphael Warnock has been instrumental, and I believe Raphael Warnock has been leading, and like everybody else is kind of like following. Okay, so Warnock is on board. Let's jump on the wagon too. But it was him from the beginning that has been instrumental in helping politically. He's been number one, I would say. And even now, like his staff emailed me a weekend ago, and it was like, we need the lawyer's information. Let's figure out how we could come together and figure something out. This man has been in there for over a year. We don't need him in there any longer. Let's figure out how to do this. And so now politically is like, I've been reaching out to different senators, not senators, but Congress folks. Congresswoman Jayapal. I had the blessing and the opportunity to testify before a congressional hearing in DC back in December. And it was Congresswoman Jayapal that gave me that platform, where I was able to share the story with 26 other Congress folks. And she's, trying to work behind the scenes. And Congressman David Scott, I mean, he dragging his feet. I still don't know what he say he gonna do.
Not surprised at that.
I'm rolling my eyes on that. But you got Nikema Williams that reached out and was like, "Hey, what to do? What we doing?" And yeah, it's been that. But it was him that led the pack. I want to say,
no doubt. Yeah, one of our sisters who is a co-host and actually on an advisory board here at Black Power Media said she had just ran into you a few nights ago at a vigil over at Virginia Highlands Church. Our sister Reverend Kiana Jones.
Yeah, Kiana Jones, yes. Yeah.
And
then ended up there in the Capitol again. Yeah, wonderful woman. I don't know if that was her first time hearing his story when she went there. But she told me, like, Mill, we this together. We're gonna get him out, type stuff. And the support now, I have to admit, it's a little overwhelming, even down to the different protests. Like we just did a protest on Sunday. I saw where they had a few representatives. One representative, Ruwa, Senator McLaurin, and Senator Jackson, because they're trying to pass SB bills that's targeting immigration, no mask, not allowing them to enter certain places like churches and schools. And the other one is to allow folks to be able to sue for damages. So they're trying to pass these bills, which is great. So at that protest, they uplifted Rodney's name. They gave me a platform to speak like this, and a lot of the people that was at the protest didn't look like us.
No doubt.
It was their first time hearing the story. And even if they didn't really know Rodney, they was willing to hear. And so that's been great progress this year.
So let me hit you with some organizational advice, because the thing about our platform, 99% of us on this platform are organizers. You know what I'm saying? Or we are movement folks every show. You know what I mean? We have about a dozen shows on here, and we dope. We're not just some bunch of dry goofies that, just boring. As you can see, we're not boring. You see, Kimber's exciting. Ready, Kimber? Show them how exciting you are. Exactly. See, so but
can't mess with this guy. Right?
You're funny.
Yeah. But So what I would say, my organizational advice, these senators like Warnock and others, get them to do a video plug, a video drop on Rodney, because the ICE letter is cool, but that gets buried. You get the video drop, we'll play it, other folks will play it, so on and so forth, because that they need to see and hear. Because sometimes, folks just take a letter as, unfortunately, a lot of our people don't read, but we're in the age of social media. So that needs to be clipped. Our sister, Kiana, told me to let you know that she'll be playing this show on her show on WRFG as well. So, you know what I'm saying? And she will be in touch with you. We'll be in touch with you.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to assisting in this bang out and self-criticism. Our apologies for not jumping on sooner. It's a lot going on. We all over the planet. You know what I mean? But we're here, and we're gonna make sure. Can you put that GoFundMe back on one more time, brother?
Sure.
No doubt. So folks, make sure you go to this GoFundMe. We'll leave it up there for a couple seconds because we know some of you are gonna be asking questions in the chat, like, what was it again? Just go ahead and read it. GoFundMe, GoFund.me 13 EEB 1DDF.
Thank you.
No doubt. So make sure you all hit that up. Brother got 7 kids. He got a wife. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
He's locked up. Let's do something, right? Final question, which goes along with what is being said, and that is for the Black Power Media family that's watching right now. What can they do today to put pressure on the authorities to bring Rodney home?
Call David Scott's office, Congressman David Scott. Call the senator. Still put pressure on Senator Warnock. Let's go ahead and do this video drop. Let's have you on video saying I support Rodney, not just on paper. Contact different representatives. Contact ICE. You can actually call Atlanta ICE field office and leave a voice message. The director at ICE field office. We actually have a petition where we have over 5,000 people sign on in support of Rodney. We're trying to make it to 10,000 people sign on so that we could produce this and be like, look, the community, we got a whole little country that's supporting Rodney. So yeah, call Congressman David Scott. Let's pressure him. Call the different Congress people, including Nikema Williams and Jayapal and all the other folks that are for immigration. Rather, call your congressman and be like, hey, we saw this thing on Rise Up a podcast, and we need y'all to free Rodney Taylor. He's been railroaded. We don't want him to be another victim. We don't need another candlelight vigil.
No doubt. And we're gonna put some of these folks in the information inside the linear notes. We inside the YouTube notes or whatever. We are an international show, so a lot of folks aren't here in Georgia. So I want you to just know that, just to, like our brother Kimber, he's in parts unknown room. Yesterday he was somewhere. I ain't gonna say. I'm not gonna speculate.
I'm in Brooklyn right now.
You said you're Burkina Faso? Okay.
BK today.
Okay, it's all good. But no, we definitely appreciate you coming on, though. Mildred, keep us posted, and we're with you. Any last words you want to say to the people before you out?
Man, thank you for listening. If you don't do anything, thank you for listening. Rodney has a Instagram. We're starting a campaign. We're trying to make this national to get him out, right? Other people went national that don't look like us. Let's do it. It's at Free Rodney Taylor. It's just a social media handle. Instagram, TikTok. We're trying to get the world to know what's happening to him, and we're trying to get him out. But thank you so much, Kalanji and Akimba. Thank you so much for having me. Did I say that right? Okay.
Ikemba.
Okay, Ikemba. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And you apologized earlier, but that don't mean nothing because you're doing what you were doing right now. Everything's on purpose. God didn't allow it then, but he's allowing it now. So you didn't have to apologize. I just thank you for being active and calling me anyway. Appreciate your time. No
doubt. We're here, sis. Be safe. Give Rodney the love and let him know that he'll be walking out soon. We already know it. We're putting it out there. And you just said something about it going national. Now it's gonna go international. The world will know the name Rodney Taylor. All right.
Thanks to God. Thank you so much. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Be safe. All right. You're checking out the Rise Up International Morning Show. This is Black Power Media. Kimba, how you feeling, brother? What you think about that story, man?
Story, man. That was a tough story. I'm still taking it in, but it just it tells us that we got a lot of work to do.
Man, listen,
a lot of work, man.
One thing about this country is, and just imperialism as a whole, it never ceased to amaze me. Of course, we now had a little bit of everybody on here. We got brothers calling from death row. I mean, we literally 2 years ago had Kevin Johnson, spoke to him 2 weeks before he was executed from death row. You know what I'm saying? We got political prisoners calling in. We got, everybody from Cornell West to whoever, Georgia Fort, who just was arrested a few days ago. We just had her on a couple weeks ago. With all of the insanity, you would think that, they would do the right thing if it was a civilized country. But because of the fact that folks are slowly beginning to realize that we are devolving, the more technology increases, the more these folks become, they revert to bestiality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's their thing. That's how they get down. And this is, this is what we're up against. But I'm listening to them. I'm like, man, you motherfuckers have put a brother in a hole in solitary confinement because he can't walk to do what it is you ask him to do. You will lock him up knowing damn well that the average, I'm going to go all the way out, the average cracker couldn't put a 70-pound bag on their back to climb up some steps. And you talking about this brother broke inside of a house with no legs, some wooden legs. These motherfuckers, boy, they are serious with how they move, boy. You talking about gangsters.
They evil, man.
Man, listen, evil, man, listen, man. I remember a couple years ago, this reporter, this white boy, he had me on his show. He said, do you believe the white man's the devil? I said, nah, I don't think the white man's the devil. I said, the devil ain't got nothing on the white man. The devil's overrated. You understand what I'm saying? He looking at me all crazy. I'm like, shit, the devil's an imaginary dude with a pitchfork and some red tights. We can see you motherfuckers get down in real life. You know what I mean? We can speculate on the devil, but I ain't gonna do the devil like that. I'm beginning the way y'all lie, shit, the devil might be all right. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I'm the devil when it comes to you. You know what I mean? So, the reality is, we got to just stay low and keep firing. It's real out here in the battlefield. I am in Georgia. This particular case is in Georgia. We just got some reports, some folks over in Fayetteville, Georgia, a couple of days ago talking about how ICE was banging on doors and making people come outside, so on and so forth. And this ain't just because see, some of y'all watching this.
Terrorism.
And I'm going to just say this because I'm getting sick of some of y'all. Some of you goofies keep running around talking about this ain't our fight. I don't know. Get your pronouns right. I don't know who our is. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it ain't your punk ass fight. Nothing is
Right.
right. And all these cats
Like,
on, where was they when they was doing? Where was they? Where was your ass? I didn't see you. I was there. You understand what I'm saying? Every time I look online, there's always somebody that's never there. We
Never
everywhere,
there.
they never there.
Never there. And we know they never there because we there.
Yeah. Like, come on, son. You gonna sit there argue with me, talking about where was they? Where was your punk ass? They was actually there. I was there. They was next to me. Your ass wasn't there. But you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, being a coward.
Agenda, man.
Yeah, man. You know, excuses only benefit the excuse maker. You know what I'm saying? Being a coward is fashionable because you can just do a type by and everybody think you about that life. You know what I mean? But that's some real sucker shit. There's some of y'all watching right now, you're gonna be mad at me. I don't care because I know you can't fuck with me in real life because you ain't gonna move your laptop. You ain't gonna move past your keyboard. You can't do nothing with me on the type buys. You know what I mean? That ain't real life. But I'm just saying, man, we're gonna say free Rodney Taylor. We're gonna say free Mumia. We're gonna say free all political prisoners of war. And yeah, you know, I would say, and Sis gave Raphael Warnock some props. You know, yeah, do the right thing, Warnock. You know what I'm saying? I know you from the Troy Davis thing. You kind of questionable a little bit, you know what I mean, over the years. But if you stepping back up in the game, we're gonna give credit where credit is due. As far as David Scott, we already know he's a sucker, so they ain't even, you know, we ain't even gonna acknowledge that. We, you know, that's just what it is. But anyway, I'm sorry, Kim, I'm going on a rant, and I know, you know.
Hey, man, I feel just like you feel. So, you know, it's resonating with me, everything that you're saying. You know, this whole conversation. But you're right. These people who are talking about it's not our fight. First of all, you know, ICE is an arm of the state.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're not separating them from the FBI, CIA, police, and any other institution that they use to oppress and exploit people. Right. So, and if this ain't your fight, then what is your fight? You should be in the streets fighting for something. You could be next to me talking about reparations or whatever, something, but you need to be fighting for something.
Yeah. And that's the question. Because the thing is, when I talk to some people, they be like, I'm concerned about such and such. What you doing about it?
Right.
Don't talk me to death, homie. You know what I'm saying? I hear you, but I don't see you out there. Okay, what's the status on what you talk about? When the last time you went? Because some of y'all complaining, talking about who didn't vote. You know what I'm saying? The more the words of the welfare poets, we didn't vote to get into this shit, so we won't vote to get out. Now you can do whatever you want to. That's your particular business. That's your red wagon. But don't be trying to throw no rocks at me about voting for someone who you expecting to do the job that your ass is supposed to be doing. That's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? Then you mad because the motherfucker don't do what you would like him to do, but you still a coward at the end of the day. Because if you are able-bodied, and you got the ability to make some type of change, and you do nothing but make excuses, then again, excuses only benefit the excuse maker. You know what I'm saying?
The excuses don't make no sense though. You know, like even with y'all voted for this. I mean, last time I checked, Minnesota was a blue state. You know what I'm saying? Like they voted the other way. So that's a lame excuse.
Man, listen, man. You know what I'm saying? That's and I heard Minnesota's supposed, and another thing real quick, and I know we got to go, man. It's a couple different things. They said Minnesota's been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. You know, pardon my English, but fuck that. Alfred Nobel was the inventor of dynamite. Let's start with that. You know what I mean? He came with the Nobel Peace Prize after they mistakenly put in his obituary in the paper. He wasn't dead, and they had him for so many foul things that he wanted to do something nice, so he came up with the Nobel Peace Prize. That's facts. They ain't no conspiracy theory. Look it up. Now y'all complaining, well, I can't believe Trump was nominated for the Nobel. He's supposed to be nominated. All war criminals are nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize because it's a criminal institution. Duh. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. Number two, I just saw something talking about in Minnesota, they're requiring all federal agents to wear body cams. That's the goofiest shit in the world. People already videotaping what's going on. We don't need your camera to show us what you're doing. Your camera mysteriously ain't gonna work when they pull it. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody got a damn cell phone. And black folks and others are thinking that we're advancing because they telling you some dumb shit. I remember back out here in Atlanta a few years ago, we was on this panel. You had these dumbass, what do you call these dudes? The folks that watch the police. They're supposed to be not cop watchers. They had it's a group, it's a council of folks that's supposed to be they're voted in to monitor the police. I can't think of their names, but they put up some billboards talking about don't run. That was their solution to folks getting shot in the street. They spent $15,000 on billboards that said don't run. Don't run, not don't shoot. Even that hands up, don't shoot shit is stupid because of the fact that you still get shot with your hands up. So that's ask Assata Shakur about that. But the thing is, it's like they had some billboards that said don't run. But now Minnesota, their solution is that they have to have these body cameras so that I don't know who ICE is going to see each other doing wrong. You think they don't know they're doing this shit wrong? They don't answer to the police. You know what I mean? Like what's the purpose, man? You're gonna waste some quote unquote taxpayer dollars to see them get fucked up closer. Yeah.
You know,
anyway,
a history of compromises and concessions is just slowed the progress down, man. It's really hindered us from really attaining real liberation.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? These ebbs and flows that we have in our movement is a result of these compromises and concessions, man. So we just gotta make sure, hey, Black Power Media, without the politics, keep telling people to push and making those distinctions between real progress and I don't know what they want to call this other stuff. I ain't got nothing a nice way to put it, but we definitely got to make these distinctions, though.
They got me cursing this morning, Kimba. I don't even believe that. You know what I'm saying? You know me being the devout, religious man that I am. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, about. I mean, you may be, but I don't know. As far as the cursing,
that ain't it. So I really ain't the.
I think you're a devout religious man, but I don't think that keeps you from saying what you need to say. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the prophet Lauryn Hill once said, "I add them up so you ignorant niggas hear me." So you know what I'm saying. So I'm a stern following believer in the gospel revolution. Before we go, we want to remind y'all that Black Power Media is a viewer-funded platform. We don't answer to corporate advertisers. We answer to you. So if you value this content, like I told you in the beginning, please show your support by heading over to blackpowermedia.org/donate. That's blackpowermedia.org/donate. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen, just in case y'all ain't hear me and you want to act like you Helen Keller's daughter. You know what I'm saying? You can look at the bottom of the screen and you can see what we're doing here. You know the work we're doing. And if you're really funky, join our community of warriors at patreon.com/blackpowermedia reloaded. That's patreon.com/blackpowermedia reloaded. Your contributions keep this independent Black media engine running. I am Kalonji Changa alongside my brother. What's your name, G?
Kimba.
Oh, you ain't got no last name. It's cat right here trying to play.
Jory. Oh, Bomani, where my Bomani at, man? Warrior. Just in case y'all don't know. Bomani.
What you say, brother?
I said, just in case they don't know, Bomani or Jory and both mean warrior. Had to say it twice just in case.
Yeah, say it twice just in case. Okay. All right. We had to make sure, brother. You know what I'm saying? They sleeping on you. They see the red, black, and green. They don't know what that means. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I hope we ain't living in an age where a black person don't know what the red, black, and green say. It ain't so, man.
Man, listen, man. We live in an age that black people don't even know they black. You know what I'm saying? So, shit. I don't know colors. Yeah, definitely.
Well, at least as Dr. Naeem Akbar said, man, hey, if you ain't ready for African yet, at least know that you're black. We have issues with that.
Call yourself an African in 2026 is a revolutionary word, brother. You know what I'm saying? Cats say African. That's just like, it's like, it's a foreign thing. But anyway, we ain't gonna get into all the nonsense. Again, We appreciate our sister Mildred Pierre coming on deck today. We say free Rodney Taylor, free them all. What's the call, my man?
Free them all.
No doubt. You know what we're gonna do too? We gotta end this with a little bit of flavor. We're gonna bring in one of our favorite sheroes, Baina Bello, to end this thing off. I played a clip behind the scenes, but I'm gonna play this other clip real quick. I want y'all to stand by, check this out, and from there we're gonna be out. This is the Rise Up International Morning Show. Check us out every Tuesday through Friday, and we also looking for some guest co-hosts too. You know what I mean? We're looking for some guests.
Trying to get rid of me, huh?
No, we like you, brother. You know what I'm saying? You came on twice in a row. You been pretty consistent this year, man. What's happening, man?
It's Black History Month, man. So I'm feeling inspired, motivated.
Okay. That brother said he's showing up for Black History. He brought some brothers from Philly on yesterday. Now, miraculously, I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but for some reason, my screen kept freezing yesterday because it was like 3 cats from Philly on there. I'm not saying it's conspiracy. My joint didn't freeze one time.
It was freezing today. Nah, your screen was freezing, but your voice, your audio was coming through, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
But you was
you bringing up old stuff? We out of here. Baina Bello, take us out with the fader.
Right.
You know why you can't give him the sense? You went to school, I hear. Your mama sweat by the roadside, selling mangoes to send you to school. To send you to the best schools. Like my mother. My mother was living in a one room, saving every penny she made to send me to a school called Collège International in Montpellier. After I finished secondary school, I had no idea. Hey, my mama said she's sending me to school. I went to school. But when I got to the school, you know what they taught in that school? They teach you how to drink whiskey, how to drink vodka, how to ride horses, how to play card games. And see, this is a school, of course she didn't know. To her it was a great school because it was in France, and in France everything you learn is good for you. This is a school that children of barons and queens and whatever, who don't have any brains, who don't have anything to do, all they have to do is go and learn how to walk fancy, speak fancy, and drink up a storm without ever looking drunk. It's sad, but it's true. I spent a year, and there was no way I could explain to my mother, this year, where you sent me, I don't belong here. Anyway, to make a long story short, I went, did my year. At the end of the year, I have a diploma. Hey, I know how to drink vodka real good. I know how to dress up. I was forced to press my hair. I think it was 3 times a week I was supposed to press my hair because I was never supposed to have a kink anywhere. I must not be myself, you know. My hair was always to be pulled in a silky, slinky little whatever it was. Okay, I did it all until the last day. When the notes were all posted, I washed my hair with a lot of pleasure. And I blow it all out, something like tonight. Probably it was much bigger because it was longer then. And I put an African outfit. Without lying, one of my teachers went to the hospital with an infarctus. And the man kept saying on the hospital bed, it is impossible. She was my best teacher. I invested so much in her. She can't revert like this. They worked hard to turn me into a white woman. It just didn't take. I was bad earth, bad soil. But I'm only telling you this because many of you are going to school. If you're not, you have a child that you're sending to school. You have a niece, you have a cousin that's going to school. A book written by a colonizer, a racist pig. Do you think that this can help your child grow? Am I saying you should not go to school? No. What is the difference between medicine and poison? What's the difference between the poison and the medicine? A matter of degree. Thank you, brother. It's the same thing. There is no difference. Every medicine is poison. It will kill you if that's what the doctor tells you. Take 1 teaspoon every 5 hours or every 8 hours. If you decide, hey, this pain is too much, let me take 5 teaspoons, what will happen to you? Right? Yes. Every medicine is poison. When you go to school, you have to think in terms, this is the poison you've got to have. But you have to measure how much of it, when you should take it, and sometimes maybe you just may have to say, hey, forget it. But that's a fact you need to know. Every time you sit in front of the television, somebody's working on you. Someone is working to change you from a black person who knows who they are and want to be themselves to something that wants to be anything other than what it is.
Sometimes the riot is a quiet one. Well, the battle is to love yourself and function in society where voices of reason are muted by anxiety, like gaining notoriety is selling your soul. So we tend to go no deeper than the shallow water level, trying to keep us overhead in the face of all the slurs and the stares, mentally frozen, paralyzed by fear of failure and success. So we lock, stock, barrel, running while it's crumbling. All these towers and they're babbling, but the baby's in the bath and the stash under the bed on my head, spinning from the circles and the puppets and the strings that they pull. Then we move. Reactionary warfare never produces when it's on the field. Feeble and foolish. What tools and what weapons are we using? We need some new ones. Real revolution. It's real solutions. Well, we've taken on the ways of the ones who conquer with their guns and religion and division. Got my inner me looking like my enemy. Real revolution. Well, my inner me, really a mirror for the galaxy. New time, brand new paradigms, new contracts to sign. They thought that this would all be televised, though it's happening right before our very eyes. It's on the inside, with their guns cocked. When that rock drops, standing on the rooftop, praying that the mountaintop can live inside the valley. People tell me the reward is somewhere off in heaven, like heaven's only in the sky, like chariots are swinging, like God is something separate from yourself, from your wealth, from your lover, from your neighbor. Oh, your savior is coming in your own name, coming with the face the same. Real revolution, it's real solutions. Well, we've taken on the ways of the ones who conquer with their guns and religion and division. Got my inner me looking like my enemy. Real revolution, where my enemy is really a mirror for the galaxy.